Just getting some prep here. Oh dear. We'll be flying around today while I chat. Usual spectator race tracking, I suppose. But we'll wait. Just a little bit. Let some people arrive. Some easy prep for the day. Wednesday is one of my easy days. I try to make Tuesday and Wednesday a little bit easier for myself. Not quite days off, but close enough. And doing these little streams where I chat with you guys is, I consider them relatively easy. Although I've realized in setting up today that I never did get my just me overlay done. So I'll have to do that. You detect a challenge, Baha. Oh, we'll see if anyone hops in. I know starting at prime time has a price. Other things are going on. But, well, anyone who comes to this gets a better idea of what the hell's going on. It's kind of, these are kind of session 0-esque. Hey, Dust. Hey, Bard. Welcome by. Big plant. Leg plant. I set everything up right. Ya-da-da. I just finally flicked through some of my messages. Oh, that is not the right screen at all. Oh dear. We have a simple one today. We'll give a few minutes. See if anyone wants to drop by, if anyone's late. Might just be a couple people, which is fine. This one will go up on YouTube, after all. So, how's everyone doing? Keywall, hi. Welcome by. Tired from Baja? Fair enough, Baja. Plenty of things to tire you out. One must always draw from the well of energy. Ah, shoot. Well, welcome in. Today, I got a number of things to chat about. But the name of the game today is Questions with the Gamemaster. So if as I'm going, you've got things you want to ask, feel free. I might not get to them immediately, but I will do a flick through. If I miss a question, you can just let me know. Probably have my notes ready just in case. Here we go. Welcome, Coley. Of course, didn't you know season 4 is the baking season? Well, we'll bring some energy. Have people been enjoying their time thus far? Has the interim been good? Trying to find a nice spot to rest. Maybe we'll just sit inside the sails of one of these ships and look out this way. Honk. Welcome by, Buck. Anyone having fun? We've had a couple of small events. Interim tends to be fairly quiet overall. Nothing of, you know, nothing to shatter your world. Yeah. Plenty of time to look in on the different event runners events as well. Yeah, nothing too consequential, but we had Golden Song come through. I just gave some advice for that. Nothing too crazy. I too have been planning and relaxing. Fair. Totally fine to take a break, especially end of season. Take a break, you know? That's the time to do it. My planning is dangerous. My planning is excellent. I wanted to wrap up one of the loose ends in season 3 with those little shards that were taken. So I've been running. Is this fool? This guy? Look at his side eye. I'm gonna look at you. Just an opportunity. See if people want to give them up, use them for any specific purpose. There was every possibility that favors could have been earned with the mercenaries, the blackened chain. It's looking like they're gonna leave frustrated. Hello, Bubble. Welcome. How do I fill over 100 people at a time with existential sadness and give a great and terrible purpose? I don't look to fill people with sadness. Great and terrible purpose is something I like to do. Oh yeah, apologies. I probably should have shaved before the stream. I am gonna shave today. Shasta, welcome by. So chances are the mercenary little subplot will end. No blood having been drawn. No dramatics. Very little worried on that. Wizard beard? I don't think I'm gonna grow a wizard beard. I'm not old enough yet. Give me another 20 years or something. Hello, the official Valence SMP. No blood drawn for now. The mercenaries aren't going to be here very much longer. I might get together and set up one more time for them to appear. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see if they we'll see if people decide to come forth, if they want to stay hidden. We'll see how that affects things in the future. I think I'm gonna run a one-shot for the Black and Chain, because there was a few people who showed some interest in like actually joining them, which people from Kara are wonderfully predisposed to do. Fearless fighters, yes please. And once more I'm racetracking around. We'll see how that goes. I'll plan something up. I think it would be nice. But beyond that, beyond the sword arriving, the interim should be relatively relaxed, save for those plots that are being created by our event runners right now. It really is a good time to shine for the various event runners, because we always want something happening. We want the world to feel alive, right? But hey, sometimes it's hard when the resources and top dogs put everything into the season to show what you can do. The interim is, at the end of the day, a really, really good time for that. After these mercenaries, were we going to begin season 4? There's gonna be a long time before season 4 starts. Several months. I always need time before we start the next season. The planning is pretty significant. Yagadin, Azilthorn, the Gambler? No. Probably closer to 3 months, I think. Probably closer to 3. Maybe 2 if we're lucky. We've got the planning process for this season has been something. Trying to grab people together as we all have less and less time. It's tough. But everyone's putting the work in. I have documents already. We'll jump over to talking about the next season. How about that? Because that's what I'm about to do. Some themes you can look forward to. Well, I always want to tell a different story with the new seasons. You know? You love the Man of War. Look at it. It's got a million fucking cannons. Let's head over somewhere whimsical. In season 1, it was all about secret societies and how the control of information can at times be quite dangerous. Season 2, we saw a tragedy play out where we learned both that multiple ideas can be correct, and also that where the tragedy starts is where the violence begins. Season 3 was very focused on the idea of nature and how there are things in the world that you cannot control, how you contend with them together, right? How outside forces can be welcomed and used. Season 4, I really wanted to do something different. So you'll be looking at... Well, I think we've seen enough of Kara being the crux of the issue, right? Of the fate of Kara being the be-all and end-all of the season, right? So this season, we're going to be looking at a section of a conflict that spans a bit wider than Kara, and Kara being the deciders rather than perhaps the victims. Yes, indeed, Bill. And now for something completely different. It should be a lot of fun, right? And do remember, I always foreshadow sections of the next season in the prior season and in the interim. Rainbow... Is there any chance? I don't know exactly how to spell them. Spelt it right, first of all. It is the Greek spelling, or the Greek translated spelling, I should say. Phobos will show up at any point in the future. Phobos is a completed NPC. I doubt Phobos will reappear. When I play a character, it's usually to serve a purpose. And Phobos' purpose has been completed twice over. I think unless there is a specific purpose for them to reappear, they will not. I suppose there's a tiny possibility they could the upcoming season. Just doubtful. Lots of NPCs that know quite a bit about world lore. I try to play them as often as I can. Once the mercenaries are gone, I'll only be on a little bit. I'll try and make an announcement maybe, or pick a specific day and time I hop on so people know. But you know, we'll be seeing some more Gontha. We'll be seeing some Yugadin, I'm sure. Beyond them, perhaps I'll pick up a character that aligns with some of my campaigns. We might see Esmeralda de Vanir. Might see Gilded Gear. I got the sacrificial dagger off Yugadin. I don't know if I could reasonably bring Avernus here. I feel like that would cause an immediate conflict in Kara. For those of you who don't know, Avernus in my world is the first Lich who was returned to life. But yeah, Coley, Season 4 will be something quite new to people. Kara will be where the conflict is happening here, but the lives of Karans will not be the crux of the conflict. So you'll get a lot of choosing. You'll have a lot of power. Perhaps you won't be as frightened. I think we needed a season. We need a season where people aren't quite as frightened. Your decisions will still matter immensely, right? And the conflict will still matter, but it won't be your home and your life. That is kind of the immediate preset for the conflict. Yeah, you're caught in the crossfire, so to speak, but it's more like you have the opportunity to direct the crossfire. Welcome, see? Oh, I didn't set up those mods on this version, did I? Oh well. That was a big thing I wanted in Season 3, is I wanted that kind of hero identity to be shown near the end. We didn't want it to be, these are the people we don't care about. We want it to be, these are the people who are the most worthy. You know? Yeah, it should be quite a bit less stressful, Noxus. It's the season's currently in design, you know. I have to remember later in the day, sun's gone. The stuff's currently in design. We have finished the final draft of the overarching stuff weeks ago. Characters were set and slated last week. The timeline's set to be slated this week. And then we're just gonna wait for stuff to be completed. Then we'll be ready to run. Can you expect chances for new players to develop in much different ways than normal? Of course, Baha. Absolutely. There will be something we decided in Season 2, and something we wanted to go forwards, wanted to push more going forwards, was that we would create opportunity for people to grow, but not conclusion, you know? We want to create as much opportunity for roleplay as possible, because unlike in D&D, we can't cherry pick and cater to a single person all the time. We're gonna have a lot of manpower in this season, which means we'll get a little bit closer to that personalization in D&D, which really people love. Right, when you can get to know a character and walk through what really becomes your story, you know? That's the kind of thing we're looking for in this coming season. Yeah, Shasta's helping. Nothing really goes as expected on Kara, and you kind of love that. Good to hear, Noxus. It's really hard to tell. It's been really interesting running in Kara because it is just a vastly different experience. You end up with the ideas of 50, 60, 80, 100, 200 people sometimes affecting a single story. Brings it a lot closer to the real world, but we try to keep everything fantasy and fun. Earlier, Aaron wanted to see Peepo, so I'm gonna fly over there. But yeah, that's kind of the gist for my little hints on season 4. There's your idea of what it's going to run like. So hopefully you aren't, I want everyone to get as involved as they can. That's going to be a big important thing for this season. You'll have to pick sides, but everyone should be able to get involved. It'll be really interesting when those stories mesh together at the end. Oh, hello, XR. Yeah, we want to create the opportunity for people to be able to build their own little stories. So we're gonna have a lot of, so you know how in season 3 we had a lot of little stories, but they happened one at a time over a very long period of time. They happened over the course of approximately 6 months. It'll be the same thing, but it's gonna be more condensed. You're gonna have a lot of opportunity to get involved in a lot of these little stories. No requirement to get involved in them, though. And then there's going to be a few key events. Those are going to be the ones you probably don't want to miss. Whereas you might pick an NPC and be like, I like this guy. This is my little guy. I'm going to get involved in this story. This is going to be my story. You know? Should allow us to have a lot of small groups. And then bring it all together. Expect the unexpected. There really is like, whoa. Sometimes you just gotta roll with it, And to be fair, I enjoy the improv. So it's up to the players to work towards that character development. Indeed. We're still, even when we break the groups into smaller groups, it's still gonna be like 10 people at least. Very difficult to provide the attention to help direct that development alongside the player. Instead, we offer the opportunity and the player directs it. Really cool. In season 3, we saw a lot of molding of the story from the player's decision. Yes, we will be following that idea. More so in many ways. Yes, more so. We're really just learning every season is what it comes down to, Shasta, right? Every season we learn how to do something a little bit better, certain things we shouldn't do. It'll be probably very similar to near the end of season 3, where there was a lot of, near the end, not the conclusion, but that climax with the Lord of Flickering Lights and Dalnos. There's stuff going on and how people could affect both of them over the course of that month and a bit. It'll be like that. That's something you did like about season 3, Bobble. A couple moments where the fake court happened, and then everyone wanted to pick a side. We should have a similar thing where people will be able to pick sides Hopefully picking sides will create a little bit of conflict, but not like a hatred for each other. It shouldn't, because it's not going to affect your home, you know? Not directly. There are, of course, rewards. Little guyification of creative teen NPCs. In this essay, it does happen. Either we are instantly hated or instantly loved, and it's kind of terrifying. Loved the improv, Noxus. Good to hear. Me too. Taking the wheel. Top 10 little guide characters from the Shasta. Fern. Fern and Lush were just little guys, you know? Benefits and losses, of course. There'll be pros and cons to every single way it goes. Overarching decisions. This is really weird to talk about without giving any real information. Like the overarching pathways, there's like 4 major ones at the end. But the details of each of those there's a lot more to each of them based on how you interact with our characters. And indeed what aspects you add to the story. Merry Christmas from Fern Heartregal. Wait, that was Lush. Oops. It was a little bit of both. You can hear Finn sulking in the corner. We'll see what Kara chooses. Kara has a very strange thing where they've started to form a very strong central identity, right? But all Karans are from other places. And so when people come alone, Kara, like if they come without identity, Kara welcomes them incredibly warmly. But if people come with a predetermined identity, they already are a part of something, and they don't want to leave it, they're almost ostracized. That's another thing we wanted to tackle this season. Alright, Shasta's list of NPCs that have been little guyified. Looks like Lord of Flickering Lights, Lord of Rot, Dalos, Lush, Austin, Drace. Drace was the original little guy. Drace was not a little guy. Many of these NPCs are not. Folkmod. Was Folkmod little guy? I don't think Folkmod was little guy in Shasta. Maybe. I don't know. Fern. Yeah. Maldor for sure. Orgontha. 100%. You were a theater kid? Mm-hmm. I appreciate the compliment, Noxus. It's all practice. What part of the world of Avunter are we working with? We are not working with governments. I wanted to stay away from something that couldn't be reconciled with afterwards. Governments are very hard to reconcile with. Like, nations are hard sets of identity, you know? I wanted it to be something that could come here and stay here or leave, and that was not necessarily assimilated into the identity, but which could still be reasoned with, you know? Nations don't really do that, you know? You can't not assimilate a nation but also kind of work with them because they have their own laws and such. People from nations, that's a different story, of course. Indeed, organizations is what we'll be looking at. 2 rather large organizations in my world. And no, I will not confirm or deny what they are. But you're free to guess. They're just a little guy. They're a war criminal. It happens a lot. I would say, for example, this guy, not a little guy. This is not a little guy. If you pay him a lot of money, could he be relied on? Yes. Will he respect you if you respect him? Yes. He is not a little guy. It's OSHA, isn't it? You got me. Fucking wizard Illuminati, says Shasta. Mentioned Gilded Gear. Yeah, Gilded Gear might appear during the interim. Certainly. You want to get involved in this season for sure, Digi? I hope you do. There will be... Again, we have learned every season. Every season we get better. Our time is a lot more strapped right now is the only problem. For me, I'm really busy, right? I am not the busiest person in my in my little group, and I really appreciate all the time that my senior staff gives to try and make something really cool. Every season we grow more powerful, says Shasta. Indeed. Part of that is the signing over of souls, Shasta. I will come back stronger than ever before. That's an inside joke. I apologize. It's true. Soulshine carpets to prevent slips, trips, and falls. Forgive me my constant drinking of this jasmine tea. I love it. Thank you very much, Noxus. You're gonna cause some chaos this time, Kimel. You've recovered. It's good to hear. We'll have some fun. Oh, you all know now, do you? Kai, you all know. It's true. Most have. And to be clear, it's actually only people on creative team and also anyone who comes to AGM. Bring your soul to pay the toll. Always a lot of fun. Though I was quite sick at the last one, so I wasn't there for most of it. Didn't get anyone else sick though, so it was fine. Sold him for a potato chip. Coley, throughout like 6 months you've been on Valence, you want to be more involved. I'm really glad. You see, that's okay. I'm going to talk about that for a moment, Coley, how it's helped with your anxiety. I used to be an incredibly anxious person, and then I started DMing for my friends, and I got a little more comfortable making decisions. And then I started DMing for more people, and I got more comfortable with people. And then I joined a team that I led, made a team of people to create shit together who all needed help from me. And suddenly I was a lot better. And now I'm not scared of people very much at all, at least not outwardly. Roleplay really does seem to help with that. It's just simulating, you know? It's just trying. It gives you the opportunity to try just being without worry, you know? Really helps. Helps you realize that there's nothing to worry about. Thank you very much, Shasta, for the gifted subs. Enjoy that, the official Valence SMP. Vortex, Hope, I believe meant is Aaron, and of course Lex. Yeah, I have my own little organization I'm working on, Coley, and the hope is to help people get comfortable creating things. That's why I did it. Oh, we'll be working on that for a long time to come. Long time. Corellian's got a campaign open right now over on NQP. If you hit my little proficiency button, I believe it takes you there. Might be the Discord button, probably the Discord button. Corellion's got a slot open right now. I think he's got 2 slots left for his Indiana Jones styled campaign. Should be cool. What shaders do I use, Digi? I use... oh, Dust has one? No, Dust does have one. That's right. He opened one for his campaign. That one has a very limited time on it. I think it's about 10 to 12 sessions. Indeed. But we really want to get Corellion started, because Corellion is actually... I don't think people realize he hasn't had the chance to start a game yet, but he is really good. As anyone who saw how he played Dalos and how that chess game played out, it was lovely. Oh, did you? Yeah, sorry, I jumped away. Did you? This is Silder's Extreme Lighting shaders. Let me... These are I've tried a number of other shaders over the years. Every time I swap a character for a while, I would change my shaders. They just... Nothing else compares for me. Look at the lighting effects. Nothing else compares. Yeah, I want to give Corellion the chance. Not that I really need to give him the chance to prove it. He's done it time and time again. Certainly not. Oh, can someone type it in? Certainly. Here, I'll type it in. Oh, you got me, Ori? Silder's Extreme... Oh, I don't need to cap... I don't need all caps. Alright. I specifically use Silder's Extreme Lighting. Welcome, Banana. Beans. I'm also the, for those of you who are new and on the stream, maybe haven't talked with me much before, maybe you weren't here when I was out and about a huge amount, Season 2. Or maybe you just joined the last couple months. I am Zach. I'm the creative manager. I run the creative team. But I also write Ulvunter, my own world, which is the world Valence takes place in. It takes place in a small part called Kara. And so, if you have questions about the world, I'm the right person to ask. Creative team. Also Beans. Highlighted Beans messages. The other mod you're gonna want is the I don't even remember what it is. It's the one that lets you client side. It remembers chunks loaded further out. That's how I can see the castle from here. It looks so pretty. Thank you very much, Digi. It's really, really interesting because my skill set is something I learned purely by doing, right? While I was going to school, I realized that I had gotten good enough at running games, running D&D games, that I could charge a little bit for them. And then I started doing that and I realized, wait, this makes more than my part-time job. And it's way more fun. So I just started doing that. And now it's starting to grow a little bit. We're starting to see if we can really... how we can actually help people with it. You know? And just how much we can build off of it. Lot to learn yet. Lot to learn. Beans for Kara. Starting to get beans out of me. So, very important question. Mork? Yes to Mork. I like Mork. I like Mork a lot. I never got to interact with him too much on Valence. I've gotten to chat with you a little bit about him. And learn a little bit about the Mork. how Mork wishes to be, really tells an interesting story. Why do you wish to be, and what do you wish to be? I suppose the idea is more normal, to be accepted, to not be alone. Very interesting. There's a little more to that, I'm sure. Like I said, I don't know too much about Mork yet. Maybe one day. Beard idea. Shave and keep the mustache. I've thought about it before, but I think I have incredibly... It's hard to tell because it's quite dark, but I actually have quite blonde hair. It's... I think facial hair on me looks bad at a point. Maybe I'm wrong. I could just be wrong. But ultimately, my opinion's what mattered. Get wrecked. Just want to make sure it isn't entirely clear to you. Do I like D&D? I don't know. I don't know if it's... I don't know. I've kind of made my whole life D&D and role-playing games. I fucking love D&D. Just the idea of telling stories together with other people. The way in which I got to do it was very stressful, right? But it started out comfortable for me, and I want to try and give that opportunity to other people. People who really know what they're doing, running games, setting up workshops about what they've learned along the way, providing those for free, of course. The games, not so much. Games fund the workshops. And hopefully we're going to create some books and stuff, and we'll be able to share that too. Even working here on Valence is like... It's just another way to learn, another thing I can try and share with people. Really, really cool. Alright. What else do we have? What else do we have? I'm kind of curious, says Jank. Who is my favorite character I've ever played on Valence? So there's a couple answers to that. I've played a lot of characters. I think Morgantha is my personal favorite, because I get to do everything I like to do as Morgantha. I get to hang out and have fun with people. I get to prophesize the future. Not necessarily. I actually don't like prophesizing stuff that much, but I get to do kind of magic rituals and share knowledge of the world with people, be ominous, start people on little quests and pathways. I get to do it all. I can be a goofus whenever I want, too. Hype train. Thank you very much, Aaron. Thank you very much. Eric. I'm a goofus. But there's also, like, Ezrin, for example. I really enjoyed. There was a lot of side stuff I didn't really understand that connected with Ezrin to other things, the way people were attached to things. That lingers with me. I might not bring Ezrin back because of that. But the character itself and how I got to actually experience playing the game for a little bit, after several months of playing him, to be fair, that was really cool. Because I'd never really just played the game before, you know? I'm always making the game, which is very different. You have to have the other players in mind at all times. Actual question from Lizzie, Horde Mama. How well known is Kara's dealings with the rest of Ulvunter? Kara is not very well known to the rest of Ulvunter. The Determiners are the most aware of Kara out of any group, other than perhaps the Baili, who are on the Accordan Archipelago, the nearest set of land to Kara. The Baili have a very popular local myth. They have a classic madness sea god, and they say that if you travel south and west, you will find a land where heroes go to die. And the implication is that it's the land of this maddened sea god. And that, of course, is Kara. The Determiners know a little bit, but otherwise not very much. Even when Maldor was here, when he had discovered this place, he didn't know who lived here till he came here. And he had made the decision that Kara needed to stay hidden so that it wouldn't become a strip mine. Alright. Valence team is always trying to crack people out of their comfort zone. It's appreciated. This is a me specifically kind of thing. But I hope everyone tries to benefit other people through this kind of thing. Hi, I'm Zach. I'm the creative manager here at Valence SMP. I'm also the founder of NQP Arts Association. Not quite proficient. What else do we got? Let me scroll down. Let's see. Ezra won't come back, QQ. Ezra might not come back. I don't know. There was some lingering stuff I just didn't understand. I wasn't aware of. It's okay. We learn. And Ezra already served his purpose, you know? He turned into someone I played, but he really did start as someone with a purpose, just like every other character I play. People will no longer be murdered for speaking the word Apophis if they don't act in the right way immediately afterwards. Hey guys, Zach here, says Shasta. Land of hubris, cunning, one-way trips. You come in, but you never come out. It sticks with you, yeah. I imagine Kara would change you. Plays into your downfall. I played a character, a very brief, very minor character named Frayed, who stuck with the couple of people who met him. Frayed was named very purposefully. He was very afraid. And he ended up viewing Kara as a sort of purgatory, which I don't think that's what it is. I think Kara is an excellent place for people to learn that they can always overcome the challenges that face them if they are willing to work together, make a plan, and indeed understand what the problem is. Because if you don't understand, it's going to lead to some real hardship. Car gives you the chance to try that again and again. You miss Frayed. Maybe I'll bring Frayed back one day. The problem with Frayed is he had like a family back home that he wants to go to and live with. And he's becoming a priest back home. Like, he has a life there. He's an NPC I might use if we ever run something that passes through Niceed. I'll have to bring up the map one day. You should finish that one art piece. What did Shasta say? Make people more afraid of Kara? You could. Wouldn't be hard. I think Maldor's enchantment's wearing off, which means it's just Silas and other Church of the Deep members trying to make sure people... I don't even know if anyone else in the Church of the Deep is on it, actually, because, you know, you want to preach kindness, right? Maldor had set an enchantment up that would cause a fog to surround Kara. That's why I actually made that as half a joke, because oftentimes when people arrive, they'd pass through a fog or their ship would be wrecked or something. It's pretty funny. But Maldor too thought that Kara could not be seen by other groups, or it would be crushed, because it's a very strange and valuable place to those who have power. Frayed is a true little guy. You go out in a coffin if you come into Kara? You don't have to. Some people just like to stay here. Kind of scary to leave Kara once you've been here for a while, once you've gotten used to not dying. What happens if you fuck up outside by accident? You die forever. Holy shit. A fun thing. Okay, let's read. I want to read Bubbles. Bubble. I want to take a moment as well, because Bubble, you saw a lot of the kind of poetry and symbolism I had used in season 3 in my connection and the design of my connection, which I really appreciated, because I put that in there without the expectation that anyone ever notices it. Like, I was like, this is, you know, I really like this, but it's okay if other people don't notice it, because it's still going to be a lot of fun. I was just kicking my feet a little bit when someone actually noticed a lot of it. One of the most interesting things has been playing a character born in Kara. That's so true. You don't get a childhood. There's a new thing happening every week or two. It's just something new you have to overcome. And you know you can. You've done it before 100 times. You gotta keep doing it. Everyone's from different walks of life. Yeah. Especially interesting when she left Kara for a few months, I imagine. There's not many places with quite as diverse a cast as as Kara, without the massive population. Because there's a few places in my world that are truly metropolitan, right? But they all have quite large populations. We're talking 10,000, 20,000, or Dacia, 50,000 people. They're quite large for our little fantasy world anyways. Certainly a lot more than 200, maybe 300 for Kara. Oh boy, I gotta catch up with these questions. I missed out on this whole stage of my life. Yeah, you mentioned that, Lizzie. I think that's really cool to kind of consider how that affects a person. I've always seen that if you get to Kara, then there's dwarves on land waiting for you. Hey, welcome in. Need a place to rest? Yep. You will moon microwave any monster for Frayed. Indeed, a lot of people worked very hard to keep Frayed alive. Love the season 3 finale. I'm really glad. You think your character's leaving in a coffin, Noxus? Oh dear. Kara coming into contact with real death for the first time. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? Like, oh, I recently got to... I had never seen a proper playthrough of Undertale. A good friend of mine took me through it recently. Maybe good friend might be might be an insult at this point. But like that idea, the determination. Are you going to stay determined? That's not going to help you in most places. You got to keep trying, but you got to know when to not die. Hard to play Karenborn character. There's not a lot of backstory. You're just there. Your backstory. You are playing your backstory if you're playing a Karenborn character. Some of the players' reactions during the con battle. 2 people didn't stand up from the fight. They were gone. Yep. Oh, and whoever went right afterwards was so geared up. I had like an effective 1800 HP, and they beat me. And I didn't do a small amount of damage either. Like, Comblade's still probably the most offensively powerful weapon on the server. Welcome, Kat. Let me die a hero, Zach. The spirit told me I should. Why are you listening to spirits? Although if you're gonna die, dying a hero is a good way to go. Oh dear. Trying to manipulate people. Manipulation always ends with the manipulator in trouble. Question is, how bad is what you did and how much did you help along the way? And Leroy was there, says Bill. Not gonna lie. Played Eliza as a bit of a sociopath for a while who kind of liked violence. Because she had never seen real death. Who cares, right? It's just another feeling, another emotion. And so what? A little bit of pain won't hurt you. Well, that's just the thing. Pain's normally the warning that you're gonna fucking die. Wild, right? Characters that didn't exist before arriving in Car Club. Is Granny's microwave real? You're gonna have to give some context to the people in chat, Lizzie. Digi character met named Morgan. Heard how he was born and turned 18. Yeah, it should shock your character. I remember role-playing Ezrin, who's an elf, learning about that. He's like, holy shit, they lost so much of their life. What do? They already have all the knowledge they need? That's so strange. It's much closer to, in my world, cards are surprisingly close to changelings, who are created by spellcasters for specific purposes, usually. They're given all the knowledge they need, how to speak, how to write, how to use different tools and whatnot, and they are created and given a purpose right away. Very strange. Wonder who this Morgan could be. You remember when you first joined, hearing its concept? Never really fun one. Sometimes the most detailed ones aren't the most fun to play. Having enough that you have things you can recall and talk to people about if you come from outside Kara is really nice. And so that you have a basis for why your character makes decisions the way they do. That's really all you need for this kind of roleplay environment. Calling Granny on her microwave at 3 a.m. gone wrong. Wow. Where else should I go? Anywhere else people want to see? I'm having fun just chatting. Indeed, the stuff you create here ends up being quite important. Oh boy, chat's moving. Will there be more interaction coming from the Emerald Institute in the coming season? The Emerald Institute, that's something I didn't mention before. The Emerald Institute is very aware of Kara. However, they also don't really want people coming here. Maybe in the future there could be some kind of plot run to do with the use of the numerous ley line intersections in Kara. But the arcane battery being here from season 2 really messes with a lot of their plans for what they might want to use this place for. In a way, providing an odd safety. They want to watch Kara, and they don't want anyone else of note to get use out of it. Which means if another great threat shows up planning to do that, they'll probably be on your side. Oh boy, I'm getting lost in the chat. Just replying to each other. You didn't see anything. Zeke is good choice, totally not trying to manipulate Soren. Oh dear. Crazy to play a character that had a whole life outside Kara, wrought with memories. Yeah. Yeah, that's Mary. She found out where beans came from today. Never got to see below deck on Dalos' ship. That's a shame. That's a shame. Very few people got to see that. The Warlocks did. Anyone who went to jail did. Anyone who snuck on board did. Well, who plays Leaf, ended up going down there. And then Krellian just happened to log on while they were down there. And Krellian logs off in his office. And so he logged on and blinked and was like, what? Why is Leaf in my office? Made for a whack interaction. Arganaz is going to teach someone power word shit. No. No, Bill. Nuh-uh. The friendships he made along the way, something. Ooh, there's hot air balloons, indeed. Here, let's go on a hot air balloon for a little while. I'll just apparate in here. I'm sure no one will question why. What else do we have going on here? You know, Eric wants to go train with Elnira. Alnira was made for a very specific purpose, right? Again, I don't think Alnira will likely return. Unless, of course, there's some emergent subplot with the Emerald Institute, in which case, might as well reuse characters, right? Jiri Miri Justice. Missed out on the honey room? Indeed, the honey room. Green beans, uh-huh. Illyrian and the hot air balloon, little guy. Yeah. Little guy. Little guy. This is apostate. It's famous for being used to kill several temples worth of priests. Not by Illyrian, it's a very old blade. Illyrian's just a mercenary. He does kill people for a living though, so you know, not a good guy. It's the priest killing sword, the sword that kills priests. It's actually good against all mages as well. It's an artifact that comes up every so often in my own world, right? Like, it is something you can have. It's good against all mages, just it has a history of being used to kill priests near when it was first used, or most famously used. Why on Green God's Earth did you have Alnira running around looking for those eggs? Oh, there was another interaction, Shasta, where she was basically asked to help. And she was like, oh yeah, of course I'll help. And then she didn't find anything. However, helping a different group, she summoned a local demon. She noticed that there was a tracing of demon here. Powerful demon. So she tried to summon it forth and control it. She's a very adept conjurer. However, she summoned the gambler. And she was not strong enough to bind the gambler, who basically said, you're going to find me those eggs or I'm going to kill you. She was sent back to the Emerald Institute to hide in a Gon's blind, which is just a room you can't scry into. Oh no, it's actually moisture juice. Here you go. I think it's funny. Purple elf person. Oh, a Berna. Yeah, what a weird concept. A blade that gives you movement speed. What a strange concept. They're like, okay, weird enchantment, I guess. Fair enough. He's so happy in his little hot air balloon. You can't little guy this one, Ori. No, not this one. He's a bad person. He's not your enemy. He's not any of your enemy, really. But he's a bad person. Gives me able to cut through magic vibes. Yeah. If you're cut with it, you can't concentrate. You can't cast a spell. In D&D terms, for a full turn until your next turn. End of your next turn. And of course, Illyrian is an Illrigger, if you know what that is. Basically a paladin of various hells. Has this guy been to Hollow Creek? Maybe. He's been a couple places. Mostly he's been in Stone Bay. I've been trying to give as many people as possible the chance to roleplay with this guy when I am on him. Not sure if this got answered earlier, but for the next season, will there be more of a clear-cut threat to Kara? That was answered before. Season 4 is going to be about a conflict in which Kara is the decider. It's less about your life and your home is at stake, and more about how do you want to influence this conflict. Kara's favorite hobby, little guying full grown ass men. Yep. The second you say he's not a little guy, you doom him to be a little guy. He was surprised at the church the other day. Part of that was me just being like, oh, you guys are having a really nice time. I don't want to ruin that. But I was able to create a logic for it internally. Like, you know, he respects the idea of what was preached while he was there. Nobody was, like, trying to be an ass to him, which has been most of his take on what Kara is. His only interaction prior to coming here was being stolen from and fought. He hasn't seen the meat pit yet? He hasn't. We should have him see the meat pit. He would be very silly about that. Still questioning the purple gem. Which purple gem? Do you have one? Because if you do, you can start a meta plot. Anyways. Some overpowered spell and him slicing through it. He has a magical authority given to him called spell turning. Once a day, he can just cancel a spell in front of him, even a very powerful one. And if it's a line spell, like a lightning bolt or something, there's a chance it gets reflected, which is terrifying. That's actually what happened in his first meeting with people from Kara, where they were stealing from him, when Fafnir cast Banishment on him. And he reflected the spell, and Fafnir banished himself. And then he fought Silas for an age and got blasted with a water beam. As Silas opened the sea cave to the ocean. Very cool. All part of your evil plan, Vortex, huh? You wanted Fern to be mean? That's unfortunate, considering the brief we gave you guys was, these ones have to be nice. We want them to be liked. You did a really good job, Shasta. Purple gems, you say, says Ori, one of the people who has one of the purple gems. The nuh-uh spell. Mm-hmm. Did Fern alter Mork's story quite a lot? That's really cool. That's what we hope to do, right? Shasta's done a really good job of it. Everything I've seen thus far. Fries himself on accident, yeah. Lush was also initially supposed to be mean. Mm-hmm. Once a day, Illyrian, I cast Uno Reverse. Indeed. Just want to talk to the priest killers, Bill? They're not priest killers, they're mercenaries. You can hire them to kill anyone. As long as you're willing to pay their outrageous prices. They are members of the Blackened Chain, a world-famous mercenary band. To hire them is to pay literally, like, you won't get a contract less than 5,000 gold. Usually they're found at major events, defending cities or attacking them, or as auxiliary forces. Vacation. Mm-hmm. The purple gem. I forgot everything my character knew and thought for 1 second it was Noah's Eye they were after. That would be hilarious, Vortex. But no, not that. I wonder if they would have accepted that. That would have been wild. One of the things they had offered to give, and I don't think this is going to happen at this point, that's why I'm talking about it, is they had offered to do like a small job for Kara if they would just give them the gem. One of them. They only need one. But they're going to leave. I can't. You settled with smart weirdo for Lush. Mm-hmm. What's your suggestion for someone who wants to play an evil and corrupt character who's putting on a facade? So, your first goal, like the first thing you need to do, is you need them to have a goal. What is it that they want? And it should be quantifiable. If it's not quantifiable, you need them to build a plan to make it quantifiable. And then you can play your evil, corrupt character to try and get towards that. And they're going to be constantly doing this balancing act, because if they are viewed as evil and corrupt, they will be removed. So it's a balancing act. You're not always doing evil things, right? Oftentimes you're helping people. It's just you're not helping them for the right reasons, you know? And you're always looking for these wedges, these like opportunities to benefit yourself. That's how you play that kind of character. You have a few of them, although I would never oust them. The pirates. The little pirate one shot I ran was also very fun. I don't speak from experience. Don't worry, says says Lizzie. Smile. You knew you should have hung on to that skull, Shasta. They probably would have accepted it, because I think that would have met the requirements of their contract. Being one of the chess pieces for the first chess game, really helped you get into chess. That's nice. It's a good stress reliever. That's good. I know nothing about chess. I'm not terrible at it, actually. I learned when I actually learned that during the chess game I played as the granny, where I was looking at, I'm like, wait, I could totally win this. And then of course we started. There was the player on my side that the granny would trust, and the granny wasn't supposed to really know the game, so she would listen to his thing here or there until he pushed too far, and then she stopped. But it was too late. And the players on the other side played quite well as well. Trust me, trust Mork. Refuse. The way Zach explains it to me makes me think Adonis is evil. So, I have and this is about 50% a joke, I have a simple test for if your character is evil. Can you envision them looking to another person that they, doesn't matter if they know them or not, and saying, I will give you purpose? Because you know what that statement means? That means A, you don't think they have a purpose, B, your ideas matter more, and C, they should serve your purpose. Wild. It also probably shows a little bit of my very individualistic views as a person. I think I'm a pretty reasonable person, though. I'm glad it helps, Nexus. Why did the granny remind you so much from, like, the granny from the mobile game? I don't know what you're talking about, sorry. Visual-wise? I don't know. Peebo did a really good job with the granny. Absolutely terrifying. She's based off an Anis Heg. Suck at chess, fair enough. Evil characters are fun. Evil characters are fun for a while. I think most people who play for long enough... Do I want to talk about this topic? Yeah, I'll talk about it briefly. There is a natural trend in roleplay where everyone turns towards what the group considers most good in the current situation. And there's a constant shifting of what exactly that means, but there's an ideal that always remains so long as the leadership remains the same. Or with the same idea. And so you end up with people slowly all turning towards the same idea, and anything that twists from that idea becomes wrong. That's something I want to attack. Because, as we all know, there's many rights. There are many wrongs as well. Doesn't mean we're going to let people kill each other in the streets. Good God. It's a really natural trend in roleplay. You see it in D&D groups as well, as they become closer together and they build this identity. The same thing in Valence, just a lot more people. The only way to fix it, thus far I've found, is to literally reset. That you start a new game. And it's not a bad thing entirely either. I certainly get to learn a lot by watching it happen. It's really cool. Oh boy. Oh, we got a bunch of messages in the chat. Oh boy, I'm missing stuff. So, as opposed to an evil character, how do you envision a character who walks between the lines? Oh god, morally gray. Every character is morally gray. It is impossible to be absolutely good. Let's start with that. Because the problem is, unlike evil, where we view an act of evil as making you evil, we do not view an act of good as making you good, right? It's really, really clear, and you can see it in the community. So I think everyone's morally gray. I just think you should always consider what your character wants and why they're doing things. It should always be more important than and you always have to consider other people. You don't want to make people uncomfortable and stuff, right? That comes first, actually. Let's put that up top. But you should never be like, my character is morally gray, so they're gonna cut things from this budget and funnel the funds towards something they control, you know? Rather, you should be thinking, my character wants to build an institution where people study this specific type of magic, and it might be 5 people that do it. They need this much money, so I'm going to cut these funds to do that. That's morally gray, right? You're moving resources towards yourself rather than someone else. I think this is a really good question, Lilith. And this is, I'm going to talk on this for a little bit, people. Sorry, I'm going to have to catch up. And there was a question of the day recently where people are like, I couldn't be a hero. And their reasoning was basically that their character was morally gray and would not sacrifice themselves. And that there's a ton of different ideas of what a hero is. And so obviously they couldn't meet all of those ideas. And I'm like, whoa, it's the opposite. You could meet any one of those ideas and you would be a hero. Really interesting how the community views it, though, right? This is what I mean when I find it fascinating to look at how, especially in larger roleplay groups, these things function. Isn't that really just cool to think about? Maybe I'm just a nerd. When the granny started whispering to Kale, you generally thought you had tweaked for a second. I tried to grab a bunch of people who I didn't personally know with the whispers. Of course, if you were always stuck together with another person, I couldn't whisper to you, but you know. Another question, since he's a demon, I want to make him able to strike deals. You can always be more vindictive. Yeah, you can. Just remember that people will always forgive their friends. They will not forgive you. Okay? Remember that. Yeah, and that's quite possible, Noxus. You have opinions? You have opinions on that, Lizzie? This is more of a D&D question, but how do you imagine alignments to work? Alignment is just something you can slap on somebody, like they vaguely fit in this box. I'm someone who thinks that boxes like that... Let me compare it to something... maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe people will kill me if I do that. I'm going to say it anyways. I'm going to compare it to like gender, right? It's a box. You can put yourself in the box. It doesn't tell you very much about the person. And I can tell you what each alignment would mean, but I'm not going to rattle off every alignment. You can ask me about a specific one or two if you'd like. Kind of Zaza they smoking now. Trying to quantify something as good or evil, you're already approaching it wrong. Indeed. What do you believe the most villainous action against Kara has ever been? The High Inquisitor was the most villainous character I ever played. Most evil. Intricately evil. Because it fed off fear. And so it convinced Karans to instill fear in each other. Because they feared it, they instilled fear in each other. They threatened each other. They hurt each other. And it laughed. And its only real power was some bit of illusion magic it could use on itself to hide itself. It could disappear, reappear in a different spot. It wasn't actually it most of the time. Though it had to be nearby. Had to be there when it was killing something, for example. You can imagine one of the Maldor staring at him. I think villain or hero is subjective. Yeah, I mean, they're subjective, but you have to view it from the angle of not meeting one criteria is not going to exclude you. It's meeting one criteria that allows you in. Build doors, build bridges, not walls, you know? As the classic saying. Fair point, thank you. Alignments are silly. Agreed. When it comes to characters of Season 4, are we dealing with heroes or villains? Both, Bill. I like that question, Bill, because you know all the information already. We're going to be dealing with both heroes and villains. And the idea behind them. We're just dealing with a lot of people. Our characters are people. And indeed, they're having their own conflict, but that conflict isn't against Kara. None of them are against Kara. Which means the decision's going to be really interesting. High Inquisitor edits went hard. Yeah, Nico. Yeah, they did. Just staring at him. Yeah. Very silly. Villains are better played when they think they're doing the right thing. So, not entirely true. There are monstrous villains. And there are things like, which technically is what the High Inquisitor was. They know they're not doing the right thing, right? They're doing the right thing for them. But this is something I do a lot in my world. Almost every group believes what they're doing is the right thing, right? Almost every group. And it might not be that it's the right thing, you know, but it is the correct thing. It's just that groups can only muster so much identity into them. And this is a phrase I've told people before that they get a little confused about. Every organization is evil. All organizations are evil because they can only care for so many ideas within them, and everything outside is not within. So it gets to a point where you can't care for everyone. Which means which isn't to say that they are necessarily actually evil and you should destroy organizations, right? But that in our storytelling context, I can make any organization the villain. It's really easy. Individuals are much harder in that sense. They're really easy to make a villain, but they're a lot harder to give meaning. You have to put a lot more work into them and how they connect to things. Whereas an organization is an amalgamation. I'm getting really into the creative talk here. I apologize. You're really excited for the new season, see? I'm really glad. The new season will be fun. We're still a few months out from it, but now that we have something solid, I wanted to start talking about it. Can a villain be a hero as well? Yes, absolutely. You can fit both check marks. In fact, most heroes do, most villains do. Here's a good example. Maldor was a hero in Niceet. He was also a villain. He killed a lot of people. However, he freed a lot of people from what was essentially slavery. Slavery with extra steps. Here, okay, how to make a character go forwards in development. You're struggling to put them into a role. In my opinion, how do I think is more important? Wait around and strike at the perfect opportunity. Fuck around and find out. So, what you should always be doing is you should have your own plan that you are moving along with, right? And you should also keep your eye out for bits of opportunity and try and snag at them when you see them. You can always alter the plan. Opportunity doesn't wait for you. Make your own opportunity, you know, so to speak. Really, idea that the villain changes with perspective. Indeed, in most cases that's the case. Now, again, there are monstrous villains, right? And that's not to say that monsters are villains. It's that there is a type of villain that is called the monster. And they are doing the wrong thing, and they don't care that you're suffering. It could literally be a monster, like a wyvern, that's gonna fly down and kill you. Or it could be a person. The first thing that popped into your mind is Mork putting the mask of himself over and over again. Yeah, see. Random D&D thing. Last time I saw an Archfey was in a Christmas-themed campaign. Yeah. Usual group had one new guy. They had to go help Santa save Christmas from Krampus. That's a classic. And the new player's first reaction when he saw Santa was to deck him. The rest is history, huh? I think I've heard that one before. El Mork. Mork is our Shrek. Oh, goodness. Any other questions people have about the world? I've talked a lot about my opinions on creation, on interacting with communities and stuff. I hope people here have enjoyed that, but it is, I understand, perhaps a little dry. I really enjoy it, but, you know, I want to make sure. And offer more concrete things that you can ask about as well. Say Morky one morked me, the Mork was gonna mork me. Oh god, that's... It took me a little bit to piece that together. That was, of course, some Morky once marked me, so on and so forth. What's my favorite breakfast cereal? Oh god, Shasta. I hate breakfast cereal. I hate it. I don't think it's food. I don't think it counts. I ate a lot of cereal when I was a kid, probably too much, and that's a lot of what flavors that opinion. If I were to have one, I would probably say there's a couple of like oat flaky cereals that have a whole bunch of granola and berries in them. Those are nice. Still not food. Do I expect it to break some friendships or relationships? Probably. There'll probably be one or two that it breaks. It's entirely possible that people's will become stronger because of it as well. Conflict and resolution. Good question. Would something like Corsairs or Privateers appearing in car at some point be on the horizon? Interesting. Quite possibly. Certainly could happen. Couldn't possibly comment. This season, Childress and Adelaide come back? You command it? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not in control of that. I suppose I did say that as though I was. I'm not at all. Those are player characters. Alright, I think we've been atop this little spot long enough. I never did go see Peepo, did I? Where is Peepo these days? He's in here for a little while. Now I think he's up front, isn't he? Yeah, he's over at the bank. Oh, he's been at the bank for ages. Literally a year. Hello, Peepo. Plot twist, Zach made Pixie Poppers out of Adelaide. You're down here, EP? Nice to see. Someone else messaged me? Waiting for me down there, huh? I'm not out and about to roleplay at the moment. I'm chatting with stream. If you're in chat, feel free to message me in chat. They might not know that I'm in chat, actually. They might just be playing the game and not be in the stream. Too bad for them. Let's go into the countryside. You have a backup if Adelaide dies. Pixie dies because she is semi-edible. My favorite quote from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Why everything is eatable. Cut out a few words. If you try hard enough. Of course, that's looked down upon in many cultures. Since this is a season, depending on choices, do I think some of the choices are going to come up that are definitely in the wrong? Oh yeah, for sure. Everyone will need to do wrongs to get what they want. In this case, that's what brings conflict. Wrongs viewed by the other side, in any case. Indeed, I dare say the start of this season is a wrong. I think people will justify, however. I don't think they will simply accept the will of some entity immediately. Indeed, I don't know if they'll even know it right away. Maybe they'll learn it through some of these characters we present. Archibald. Oh god, I know Archibald. Anyways. I haven't met him, but I know him. Welcome to Eternum. I really like Eternum. I love Eternum, in fact. Fond memories with Ray. Wrongs are fun. You had a D&D campaign about the Ashen Corsair cruise ship whose crew would become infatuated. And they would turn into pirates. Gotcha. Feed its greed. Will there be a way for us to learn more information about the Titans that people might not know yet? The Titans are very old, and they have been sleeping for a very, very long time. Indeed, it is assumed by scholars that they will not wake up. That it is the remnants of their power that has shaped the world. They did it themselves, after all. Titans, Aloris is a tough one. I had some cool stuff in the back pocket about Aloris, but stuff never quite got completed. It's been a running theme. There's some Tenignis people you can chat with and try and find out what their interpretations are. Guntera, of course, does. Every once in a while, I'll pop in his Stoneheart. Of course, Sinaquis is pretty easy here. You have the kindest temple of Sinaquis here, by far. Perhaps the true temple. Sinaquis, what's that? Says Vortex. Magic tree in the backyard of Wildridge, indeed. The tree that represents a sacrifice used to mend a wound. Strange concept. Yeah, it's not a binary choice. Indeed, Shasta. Indeed. Not a binary choice. That's the best part about role-playing, is it's not... This is why you gotta have a brain. Or several at the head of it. Doesn't have to be binary. Can I be the meat titan? You're going on. You have to go on a list now, Lizzie. You're on there with Lisa, and whoever was put up as the possible titan of sequence. I have a hit list in case it ever actually happens. would ever be on the horizon for someone to try and break Apophis free. So, what you have to understand about the 11th cycle, which is the supposed end of the world in my world, is that it is very useful in a literary sense, where we can use it for writing. It is, however, very, very difficult to use. You can use the thread of it, but the moment we bring it about, we have to end everything, right? That is the end. The greater theme of my world is that there is a natural cycle to things. A natural cycle which we cannot accept. We cannot accept the natural decay. We cannot accept letting ourselves fall to ruin. We cannot accept, you know, other things killing us. We cannot accept, you know, even small things. The river flowing in our way, we can't accept that. The tree wants to grow through our house, we can't accept that. You know, and so the moment that the ultimate cycle, the ultimate natural cycle comes, that's it. It's done. I don't think we'll ever get there. Though I could run a really cool campaign. Maybe when I'm old and senile, I'll do that. Crazy how that tree could be used in the future. Indeed. Oh, indeed. Good little catalyst for conflict, isn't it? Indeed, a catalyst for ideas. So someone could try, Nexus, I suppose I never answered your question. Someone could try. It's not really on the menu for anyone to succeed. To do so, you would have to make Apophis's dream come true. You would have to become a powerful enough mortal to reshape the universe. To create anew, without the Titans. Can I eat a Titan, says Cat. You know what, Cat? You can certainly try. Mork is enough of a fool to self-proclaim the title Herald of Flesh. How very fey. How very fey. Looks like people are about dropping off. Starting to head out. We should probably start bringing this to an end, shouldn't we? I've been going for an hour 40 minutes. Goodness, I've had a lot of fun. Any last questions anyone wants to ask? Whether it be about the world, about its functions, about the season, about the interim. If anyone's gonna know something, it's gonna be me, you know? Oh, I lagged out there. Oh shit. That's okay. Let's grab up the questions. Alright. Some crazy dude tried to bring that about earlier. Yeah. But if every season can be used as a lesson for not only the characters to learn, but even the player, that's the idea. We like to attach a message to each season. Season 1 was about the trouble that controlling information can bring to society. Season 2 was about the fact that multiple people can have totally different ideas about how to how to solve a problem. They can both be right, but be mutually exclusive. You could only do one or the other. How that can bring tragedy when it comes to violence. Season 3 was very much about man versus nature, about the idea that what you do not know can be helpful or harmful, and how it is you can band together to deal with that. Season 4 will be entirely different. Heresy Devourer of Titans. Cat, no! Your dad will murder me! Can we get rid of Granny Flowers and Internum? Yeah, go for it. They don't need to stay here. Morgantha was kind of pissed about it. You want to get involved, what would I recommend to be the best way to do during the interim? So the interim is really where the event runners and your own stories that you begin to create can thrive. I would suggest going around and trying to find someone that is doing something and asking if you can join them. Or starting and writing something yourself. You could go to the different events that are going on and have some fun. Best time to seek out your character's own goals as well. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. The best way to get involved during the interim is to make your own. Make it yourself. Or look at those who are trying to make it for themselves and get involved. During the season, we will have large, sweeping story plots for you to join in. But for now, things are a little bit more chill. I'm racetracking again. What's my favorite color, says Shasta. Purple. Don't know if you could tell. It's purple. I think it's neat. Pink's not bad either, to be fair, but I prefer purple. You have a question but don't want to sound pushy or rude? No, that's okay. Ask away. Worst case, I'll tell you. You'll have to find out yourself, you know? I haven't been able to be on when y'all are. That's fair. That's fair. The mercenary subplot was really just that, a subplot. Hopefully you got to interact. It made the world feel a little alive, or interact with someone else who interacted. But it really isn't as all-encompassing as anything else we run during the seasons. It really isn't. I just wanted to close up some loose ends that came from a bunch of previous one-shots, actually, related to Kara. If you want to join in on our various games, you can go check out Not Quite Proficient, specifically our Not Quite Proficient Arts Association server. I think if you hit the Discord button down below, it should take you right there. You made me more excited, but I do have a question with conflict. Will it involve new people or old faces? It's going to involve everyone. Here at Creative Team, we really want to get everyone involved. If you look at someone and they got a Creative Team tag, they want you to be involved. We're not going to, discriminate whether you're a new character or an old character. We're going to try and create our little groups with our little guys when it comes out and grab people along for an adventure. That's where I go to share my starbursts. Thanks, Shasta. Purple. People agree with purple. Officially invited to the Council of Purple. Excellent. Applications for my team. I have not hired anyone for my team in 2 years. I apologize, I could check in on it, but the leads lead the team. I simply manage the direction and make sure that everything's all right for them. If there's any roadblocks, get it out of their way. If there's an issue they're not sure about, I offer advice, try to keep things organized. And yeah, again, it's just that general direction, writing the season, that kind of stuff. Although senior creative as a whole is very helpful in the writing of the season. You can have a pink one? Hell yeah. Looking forward to it, did you? Hell yeah. Alright, I'll take us to an ending screen here. Look at the dim orb. Let's go with the dim orb today. thank you all oh so very much for coming and joining me. I had a really fun time. I really enjoy creating stuff. Don't know if you could tell. Writing stories, and especially that sort of collaborative process of them, and making sure they're designed in a way to allow for that. So thanks again for coming along, for joining me, for coming and hanging out. I'll see you around on the server. Have an excellent day, everyone.